Hey there, AI enthusiasts. Welcome back to All About AI Tech, the channel where we dive into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence and its latest advancements. I'm your host, and today we have a very special episode for you. Have you ever wondered how to get the perfect responses from AI models like ChatGPT and other large language models? Well, wonder no more. In this video, we'll be exploring the art of prompt engineering and how mastering it can maximize your productivity with AI. So, if you're ready to unlock the full potential of AI, let's get started. First things first, what exactly is prompt engineering? Simply put, prompt engineering is the practice of writing, refining, and optimizing prompts in a structured way to perfect the interaction between humans and AI. It's a relatively new career field that has emerged with the rise of artificial intelligence, and it's becoming increasingly important as AI continues to advance. But before we dive deeper into prompt engineering, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what AI is. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines. It's not sentient, at least not yet, but it can analyze large amounts of data to find patterns and make predictions. One of the most common forms of AI is machine learning, which works by using training data to identify correlations and predict outcomes. For example, if we feed an AI model a bunch of paragraphs and tell it which ones are about international finance and which ones are about earnings reports, it can learn to categorize future paragraphs based on that training data. And the more data it has, the better it gets at making accurate predictions. Now that we know what AI is, let's talk about why prompt engineering is so important. As AI becomes more advanced, it can be difficult for even the people who create it to control its outputs. That's where prompt engineering comes in. By writing effective prompts, we can guide AI to produce the results we want. For example, if you're trying to learn English and you ask an AI chatbot to correct your paragraph, you might get a better sentence, but it might not be the best sentence possible. However, if you write a prompt that asks the chatbot to act as a spoken English teacher, keep your reply neat, limit it to 100 words, and strictly correct your grammar mistakes and typos, you'll get a much more interactive and helpful response. That's the power of prompt engineering. So, how do we write effective prompts? One key aspect of prompt engineering is understanding linguistics, or the study of language. By understanding the nuances of language and how it's used in different contexts, we can craft prompts that will elicit the most accurate and helpful responses from AI. This means using standard grammar and language structure, as well as being clear and concise in our prompts. Remember, the more specific and detailed your prompt is, the better the AI will be able to understand and respond to it. Another important concept in prompt engineering is language models. Language models are computer programs that learn from a vast collection of written text to understand and generate human-like language. They analyze the order of words, their meanings, and how they fit together to create responses that seem like they were crafted by a human. One example of a language model is ChatGPT, which we'll be using in this video to demonstrate the power of prompt engineering. When it comes to prompt engineering, it's important to get in the right mindset. Just like with Google searches, there are better and worse ways to write prompts. The goal is to write one prompt that will get you the result you want, rather than having to write multiple prompts and waste time and tokens. So, let's think about what we want to achieve with our prompt and how we can write it in a clear and concise way. To demonstrate prompt engineering in action, we'll be using ChatGPT's GPT-4 model. To follow along, head over to OpenAI.com and sign up for an account. Once you're logged in, you'll be able to interact with the platform and create new chats with the GPT-4 model. You can ask it any question you want, and it will respond based on the prompt you write. Keep in mind that the platform uses tokens, which are approximately 4 characters or 0.75 words for English text, and you'll be charged based on the number of tokens you use. So, let's get started with some examples. Now that we have a basic understanding of prompt engineering, let's talk about some best practices. First, consider writing clear instructions with details in your query. Don't assume the AI knows what you're talking about. For example, instead of asking when is the election, specify which election and which country you're referring to. Second, adopt a persona. This means asking the AI to respond to you in a certain character or style. For example, you could ask it to write a poem as a famous poet. Third, specify the format. If you want the response in a specific format, like a list or a summary, make sure to include that in your prompt. Fourth, use iterative prompting. If you have a multi-part question, or if the first response wasn't sufficient, you can continue by asking follow-up questions or asking the model to elaborate. Fifth, avoid leading the answer. Try not to make your prompts so leading that it inadvertently tells the model what answer you're expecting. And finally, limit the scope for long topics. If you're asking about a broad topic, it's helpful to break it down or limit the scope to get a more focused answer. In prompt engineering, there are two types of prompts: zero-shot and few-shot. Zero-shot prompting means that the AI model has not been trained on any examples of the task you're asking it to perform. This means that the model has to rely on its general knowledge and understanding of language to complete the task. Few-shot prompting, on the other hand, means that the model has been trained on a few examples of the task. This can make it easier for the model to understand what you're asking it to do and produce more accurate results. We'll be using both zero-shot and few-shot prompts in our examples to demonstrate the differences between them. One potential issue with AI models is something called AI hallucinations. This is when the model produces outputs that are unusual or inaccurate because it has misinterpreted the data. For example, if you ask a text model about a historical figure and it doesn't have an answer, it might hallucinate one instead, resulting in an inaccurate response. This is why it's important to be clear and specific in your prompts, and to double-check the accuracy of the responses you receive. Finally, let's talk about vectors and text embeddings. In computer science, particularly in machine learning and natural language processing, text embedding is a technique used to represent textual information in a format that can be easily processed by algorithms. This involves converting the text prompt into a high-dimensional vector that captures its semantic information. In the context of prompt engineering, this means representing prompts in a way that the model can understand and process. For example, using the Create Embedding API from OpenAI, we can convert a word like food into a vector that captures its semantic meaning. This allows us to find words that are similar to food in a large corpus of text by comparing their text embeddings. And that's it for this video on prompt engineering. We hope you found it helpful and informative. Remember, mastering prompt engineering can unlock the full potential of AI and help you get the perfect responses from models like ChatGPT. So, start practicing and experimenting with different prompts to see what works best for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.